Tell us about Russell King Jr. I think he was a student who was declared brain dead early this morning. Is that correct?
Yes, he's the second fatality now. I'm sorry. And so he is one of 5 students that were shot yesterday by a suspect that has been named as TJ Lane, a 17-year-old student at another school actually in the area, an alternative school for at-risk students. And authorities are now trying to piece together why exactly this happened.
And before we get into what they're learning about this suspect, TJ Lane, tell us a little bit about Russell King Jr. He was 17 years old. You said he was the second fatality. Do we know sort of whether he was attending this school, what his relationship was there?
As far as we know right now, there was a group of students who was gathered in the cafeteria waiting another bus to bring them to a career center of sorts. And this group apparently was targeted. It's unclear so far, but Russell King was apparently friends with another boy, Daniel Parmerter, who died yesterday as well. And so 2 of the other students, one is critically injured, another one is seriously injured, another one apparently is in stable condition. But several of them were friends and awaiting another bus to another school.
All right. And TJ Lane, the suspect, he apparently was living with his grandparents, may have gotten the gun that possibly was used in this incident there. Help us out with that, Jack. What are authorities saying?
Right. I spoke with a neighbor who lives a door down, who actually is the former county sheriff. He was a good friend of the grandfather of the suspect and was a frequent hunting partner of this grandfather. And he said he spent the night with the family last night, and it was revealed that a .22 caliber revolver was missing from the family's home when they learned of the shooting. Now, local news reports have said that police confiscated a .22 caliber revolver as well. Authorities have not confirmed that. Authorities have said very little so far. There's going to be an arraignment at 3:30 p.m. today. They've said nothing of motive. There's been a lot of discussion on social media about whether or not there was a school beef or whether this kid was an outcast, but it's a lot of things that we typically hear, and we're not able to confirm anything yet, so it's really unclear at this point.
This is a community, it sounds like, where guns are sort of the norm in the home. It's a big hunting community. Even, I believe, a former police officer there said he had hunted with the family of the suspect. Yeah. Is that correct, Jack?
Yes, exactly. This gentleman, Carl Henderson, the neighbor, he said it's essentially a county of guns. Everyone has them. He knows that this suspect, TJ Lane, was a hunter. His grandfather was a big hunter, but it's not rare for someone in this town to be like that. And I know on TJ Lane's Facebook page, his top activity was primitive hunting, which is typically bow and arrow and things like that. So, guns were, part of the culture in some ways, but recreationally. But obviously, at least the suggestions are that he took a gun of his grandfather's.
And originally yesterday, the police were not naming a suspect, but of course that suspect at this point has been named as TJ Lane. His family speaking, a little bit unusual, but what did they say, Jack?
Well, they released a statement through the family lawyer, and essentially, what you would expect, that they were shocked and saddened, and they were confused at how this could happen. They didn't see any signs of it, things like that, and they're trying to gather the pieces and figure out what happened.
And obviously the rest of the community reeling is even a small word to use from this incident. How is the school coping? Is the school closed today? What's happening in the community right now, Jack?
The school is closed today. Tomorrow they're inviting faculty and staff back to sort of deal with how they're going to proceed forward. On Thursday they're having students and parents together in the school. There's not going to be many classes, but I think a vigil and things like that. On Friday they're going to try to resume classes. I'm sure it's going to be difficult to some degree. But obviously this has really impacted this community. It's a town of 5,100, about 30 miles east of Cleveland. And it's something you always hear with these sort of things, but it's a true statement that people are just saying they never could have imagined if it could have happened there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's the second shooting in the last 12 months at a high school in the U.S. Is that right, Jack?
It's the worst in 11 months. I think there have been several, unfortunately, but this is the worst in 11 months. In Houston, a person was killed at a football game and several other injured. So unfortunately, we continue to see these shootings every several years.